Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Ernesto Chinona, Vice President of Business Development and Government Affairs with CSSi LifeSciences. Welcome back to KIMES 2024. I'll be discussing U.S. market validation and distribution as a mechanism by which to enter the U.S. market. Thank you so much to our partners at Synex for their kind invitation to their booth. And to KIMES 2024, we are really appreciative of the opportunity not only to grow our partnership, but to have this opportunity to provide some value to the attendees of KIMES 2024. We are a small consultancy and CRO based in the United States, predominantly in Maryland. CSSi LifeSciences has a track record of regulatory approval through the US FDA, a validated quality management system, as well as an extensive investor network. And so we hope to be able to provide value to you and to the Synex team as a partner to help companies wishing to enter the US market, which is what we're going to be discussing here today. We're going to be talking about market access and why is it important. This is the process really by which Korean products are made available to end users in the US, both patients and healthcare providers, at the right time, at the right price, and for the right payers, whether they be private insurance or government partners. And this is important because it really determines the commercial validation and the potential commercial success of products in the US. And so the United States can be pretty daunting and overwhelming market to address because of its size and its diversity. And so part of the discovery process that we use for market validation engages our clients through a series of questions. How are end users engaging with your competitors' products? How big is the market based on the current and potential users of that product? And what companies are preparing to enter the market with a disruptive technology that might interfere with US market entry plans? And we're going to be diving into the answers of these questions in a little bit more detail, starting with our recommendation to provide and perform secondary market research into your product. What we often utilize in order to do this are secondary sources such as general search engines, really looking at websites of competitors, whether they be through analytical reports and which can be expensive, or through university research libraries that can offer access to databases on the market, government sites that provide information on the prevalence of a disease as well as the market, competitor reporting, so the annual reports of competitors and competitor distributors, such as some of the large medical device technology companies, and customer ratings of different technologies that are on the market that are your close competitor. The thought process here, as you are acquiring information and data methodologically on your product and the competitor products in the US, this is really to help inform the questions that you're going to be asking to primary research sources. So individual end users, whether they be payers or providers or patients that are going to be using your technology. The goal is to define and refine your value proposition, really the statements that you're making that help your product be differentiated from other products in the US market. Competitive analysis is a thorough investigation into what that landscape looks like. It's no surprise that during the Sochi Winter Olympics, Yoona Kim was the favorite to win figure skating, but it wasn't the reality when it wasn't the outcome, and it was an outrage to a lot of the winter sports spectators. And there's a really important lesson to be learned here as to how are the companies that are your competitors successful in spite of the fact that you may be introducing a better product to the market? How have they been effective at acquiring their market share, at really being successful? What are the relationships that they have developed with payers, with government, and other stakeholders? Where are they currently positioned, and where are they headed next? The United States is a giant geography, and no single company tackles the entire United States at the first time. There are strategies by which you start with a specific subset of states in a specific geography. And once you have a better understanding of the territory of your competitors, that may help you decide where in the United States you wish to enter. And what are the strengths and weaknesses of your competitors? How have they achieved their success? But really, as a company, as their leadership, their process, and their operations, what are their weaknesses? And how are you competing with those structures as a company overseas that's interested in penetrating the US market? Identifying risk is the next step as you're considering your total, your serviceable, and your immediate market segments. What are the factors that are driving market growth in these three markets? The factors that are retaining and restraining growth. What are the disruptive risks? Are there technologies that are going to jeopardize the use of your technology? Are there obstacles to market entry? And of course, the US FDA being the largest and most prominent obstacles, but what are other obstacles to having your technology adopted by the physician or found by the consumer, whether it's an application or a medical device that's direct to consumer? And how do you develop a mitigation plan then to address these risks so that in case something were to come to the market to disrupt your technology, how would you be able to pivot and change your approach to market entry? The point here is that the US market entry plan is a living document, and it's a living plan. It's about formulating a US market entry thesis, learning about the testing tools and methods in order to address your hypothesis, plan and reform a value proposition test, see how your value proposition resonates with your consumer, with your end consumer, your end user, analyze those results, and then revise and improve your value proposition. And this is done through that secondary market research, in addition to primary market research, where you're interviewing potential payers, you're interviewing your potential healthcare providers, doctors or nurses that will be using your technology, or the patients themselves, if your technology is a direct-to-consumer technology. What will be important for you to consider as you're entering the US healthcare market is also your quality management system. And the reason why I bring this up is because your quality management system as it stands is probably ISO 13485 compliant. However, the US at the moment doesn't recognize ISO 13485, and there's no direct harmonization with the US FDA's requirement of a quality management system. There have been recent efforts and recent guidances from the US FDA that by 2026, ISO 13485 as well as 21 CFR Part 820 will be identical and they'll be fully harmonized. As it stands, however, there's about an 80% harmonization between your ISO 13485 quality management system, and what the US FDA requires. Unless you are a class 3 device, your quality management system is not required for regulatory approval. However, it is needed at the time of commercialization, at the time of selling your technology in the United States. And so it'll be important to you and to your distributor to ensure that your quality management system is harmonized to the US and that you are aware of how to conduct an audit from the US FDA should they come knocking on your door. In the case of establishing a US-based entity, this isn't necessarily always a requirement. There are some advantages, especially for emerging technology companies seeking funding from the US government for their innovation, research, and development. Some investors, if you're looking for dilutive funding, like to see a US base of operations, but it's not always the case. There are establishment registration fees that are increased annually by the US FDA that have to be paid per item. And those items need to be listed on the US FDA's website upon regulatory clearance, approval, or just registered on the website if they're a class 1 device. Once you have completed your regulatory requirements, it's important to find an appropriate distribution partner. American distribution partners are the key facilitators in the medical device supply chain, ensuring that medical technologies reach the healthcare market efficiently. Again, you do not need a base of operations in the US to find an appropriate distributor. They help navigate complex logistics. They ensure that you're compliant with regulations, and they understand the dynamics of the market, which is really the most important, one of the most important contributions of your distribution partner. At the end, they'll deliver the products from you, the Korean manufacturer, to the healthcare providers and patients, playing a critical role in introducing your innovation to the US. So there are different types of American distribution partners. These exclusive distributors are contracted to represent your products solely in a specific territory and dedicated to a specific focus. Non-exclusive distributors can sell products from multiple companies, providing a broader market access. And there are pros and cons to each, which I'll discuss in shortly. Sales agents, they work on a commission basis to promote and sell your products, offering expertise on demand. And so with an exclusive distributor, you're guaranteed a dedicated focus on your product pipeline, but they may be limited in the market reach, depending on the distributor's specific territory or network. Non-exclusive distributors acts as a wider market through a vaster network of distributors, and that's because they carry a much larger portfolio of technologies. The problem with these types of distributors is that they also have challenges in prioritizing products, and so they may carry competitive or seemingly competitive products within their portfolio, thereby not necessarily presenting your product to the providers or the end users or the buyers of the product in a way that really maximizes your sales. Sales agents, on the other hand, are flexible and cost-effective. They typically have more specialized expertise. They don't have as much control over the sales process or as much market coverages, given that these individuals are more limited than and less powerful than the operations of a much larger distributor company that you would be hiring to conduct that work. It's important that Korean manufacturers have expectations of their US-based distributors. Your distribution partner should provide comprehensive knowledge of the healthcare sector that they operate in, and they should be able to provide you evidence of this. They should be able to understand the patient needs and know what the patient needs are within their healthcare vertical. Healthcare provider demands and expectations are also the types of information that you can ask and request from your distributors as you are seeking to formulate your US market entry thesis and refine your value proposition. And they should have some awareness of the competitive landscape of your product, given their experience with similar products in the US market. Distribution partners have regulatory compliance expertise, but they are not, in fact, your regulatory consultant. That's a job for Synex and for CSSi LifeSciences. But you should expect to have a conversation about the regulatory status of your product, and they will have enough expertise to review and ensure that your technology is meeting US FDA regulations. They may facilitate the necessary documentation to be able to check for regulatory compliance so that they feel secure in a smooth market entry transition and operating as your distributor. They should also have a tailored sales and marketing strategy for your product, or have the capabilities of developing one. So ensure that your prospective distributors have a track record of developing and executing successful sales and marketing strategies, and you should ask them for this kind of information. Ensure that your distributor also includes digital marketing campaigns, direct sales efforts, and educational initiatives for healthcare providers tailored to the nuances of a medical device. This would be very similar to a medical affairs executive or a medical science liaison that may have the scientific expertise to be able to provide guidance and an explanation of your technology to a healthcare provider if that's the target audience. So where do you find a US distribution partner? Key industry trade shows like Medica or HIMSS are going to be the best place where you can find a wide range of distributors that showcase their capabilities and services. There are industry or indication-specific conferences that would also afford these, such as the annual American Association for Cancer Research or the American Society of Hematology Conference. Utilizing industry directories and associations are a secondary way of finding distributors. There's the Medical Device Manufacturers Association of the United States, as well as the Healthcare Distribution Alliance, that you could research and request a meeting with so that you can engage, so you can find potential distribution partners through their organizations. And then government-sponsored trade missions. You can engage with COTRA to attend Select USA or to attend Bio 2024, as well as the MedTech conference hosted by AdvaMed. Or you can engage with the US commercial service based in the American Embassy in Seoul to understand how to best find trade missions to the US that will then provide business-to-business services so that you can meet the distributors stateside as part of a formal delegation from South Korea to the United States. I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about how you're going to vet some of your companies. So Comprehensive market reach evaluation is incredibly important because we dive deep into understanding a potential partner's footprint in the market. You should take a look at the distribution networks of your potential distributor, their customer base, and their ability to penetrate the market effectively. It's not just about how wide they can cast their net, but also how deep they can go in making meaningful connections with the market demographics that matter most to your product. The financial stability is essential for you to align with partners who are on solid financial ground. We conduct thorough assessments of distributors and their financial statements, credit ratings, and growth projections so that we can best vet whether this is an appropriate distribution partner. Think of it as a routine health checkup, but for a company's wallet and financial muscles. Strong and steady wins the race in entering the US market. The reputation and track record is also incredibly important. This is where we scrutinize their past to predict our future. A stellar reputation and a proven track record are non-negotiables. Korean manufacturers should delve into the history of partnerships, client testimonials, and any awards or recognitions the distributor has received. A partner's past performance is often the best predictor of your distributor's success moving forward. With respect to the alignment of a company's mission and values, this is about synergy. It's no surprise that Americans and Koreans conduct business differently. And that's not a problem, but it's important that both parties meet each other halfway. And so it's about really finding a synergistic partner to that of your company's values and your company's culture. So consider looking for partners who share your vision for the future and hold similar values. It's not just about the contract, it's about the person. Lastly, for the strategic fit and capabilities, you'll need a distribution partner who's not just able to, but eager to walk that extra mile for you. Assess their technological, logistic, and innovative capabilities to ensure that they meet the demands of your product and your service offering. The aim is to create a partnership where your company's strengths are combined with the company's strengths of your distribution partner, which will help you be a little bit more versatile and a little bit more competitive in the market. And lastly, when it comes to negotiating an agreement with your distribution partner, it's important to begin by defining the scope. Americans are used to having everything on paper, and really it's what's in the agreement that's important, because if any aspect of the agreement should fail, then litigation can be used to course correct if necessary. But hopefully it will not get to that in your case. And in order to prevent any sort of litigious situation, defining the scope is incredibly important. It really captures the essence of your collaboration, the services and the products involved, the objectives that you aim to achieve, and the boundaries that are set between you and your US distributor. Think of it as a map for the treasure hunt where everyone's clear on what treasure you're seeking. A detail of responsibilities is important because the assignment of who does what and when is carefully outlined. This is about distributing the workload evenly and making sure everyone's on the same page about each role that the companies are going to take. In terms of the territory rights, here's where you will define which US territory you will be addressing as part of your distribution efforts. It's about setting up clear boundaries to prevent overstepping and to ensure that partners can grow without stepping on each other's toes. This is especially important if you have multiple distribution partners covering different parts of the United States. In terms of the negotiation strategies, clarity, flexibility, and mutual benefit are kind of the guiding principles for addressing US distributors. Clarity is about being transparent, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Use a Korean English interpreter if necessary in order to provide this clarity. Flexibility shows that you're allowed to navigate through unexpected turns. Mutual benefit ensures that the deal is a win-win, creating a strong incentive for both parties to invest in the partnership's success. And finally, the review periods and exit clauses. And this is your safety net. Here you agree on regular intervals to assess how your US market entry is going. Has the partnership been successful? Is it meeting your expectations? And if not, how do you part way friends with your distributor? There are different types of contracts and deals. Some of them are exclusive, one distributor per territory, or non-exclusive, where you have multiple distributors. They can be competing with each other for selling your product within the single market. As far as payment is concerned, there are fixed and sliding scale commission structures and bonuses that are rewards for meeting specific sales targets, and fees and incentives that you can expect. Marketing support, manufacturer funded promotions if you have an interest in direct to consumer advertising, volume discounts for bulk orders, and performance rewards for achievements by your distributors. So hopefully today we've been able to elucidate a little bit more about how we work with US market access clients and our considerations and our values when we approach US distributors. Should you have any information, please feel free to contact me or a member of the Synex team who could put you in touch with us. We'd love to learn a little bit more about you and your US market entry goals. We hope you have a wonderful and successful KIMES 2024 conference, and we hope to see you the next time I'm installed. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.